Turn those cameras back on!
What do you want me to do?
Turn them off! Pat!
Put it up. Anyone who can get out right now.
Take it out. Put it on. How do I know it won't blow up? Because I have the detonator. My thumb comes off this trigger, then we all explode.
So Money Monster is directed by Jodie Foster and stars George Clooney and Julia Roberts, and Jack O'Connell. So going into this, I turned down the horror movie The Darkness because currently that is standing at a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, and this one is standing at a steady 57, which is adequate, but is better than 0. This is actually one of my most anticipated movies of the summer. I've been wanting to see this movie ever since the trailer came out, and just seeing the cast of this movie, I mean, come on, Julia Roberts and George Clooney with a gunman on a TV show, what's not to love? Well, there's actually quite a bit not to love about this movie. I'm just going to get the bad things out of the way, then we can get to all the goodness that is in Money Monster. So to start off, I can tell that there were maybe a lot of inputs thrown into this movie. Like, I didn't really check if there were more than one writer, but it definitely seemed like there was a lot going on. Like, sometimes this input wouldn't go with that input, but it would go with this input. It was honestly really jumbled for like about the first or second act. And have you ever met that 5-year-old that will make a joke and people will giggle and be like, oh yeah, that's funny, at least you're trying. And then they think, oh wow, they think I'm funny, I need to keep doing that. That's what Money Monster does. There is this joke at the very beginning of the show, before the gunman even comes in. It's about this dude who has a funny accent saying balls. So it sounds like balls. It makes you giggle because they're trying to make this guy seem relevant, but he's just not. And even when it is totally serious, he'll just say, balls. Easily my least favorite part of the movie was this dude named Larry, because of just how he kept saying balls. And with the jokes, it seemed like in scenes that shouldn't have comedy, had comedy. It was tense, and then someone would just throw out a joke and it'd make people laugh. And a lot of the jokes are unintentionally funny. I mean, I get it, they're jokes to some people, but you should not laugh. It's terrible jokes throughout the whole movie. Now to the good parts. So, up until now, I had no idea that Jodie Foster did directing. I don't know if this is her debut or not. I didn't really look into it. But it seems like she's had a lot of work with being a director, because this is not her first rodeo. Because Money Monster, it's a lot to handle. Like, there's so much going on. There's so much tension. Like, there's something going on over here that makes you nervous. Then you forget about this thing over here because there's something going on over here. And then there's something going on at the ceiling. Then there's the gunman and George Clooney in the middle with a bomb. And you can't take his thumb off or else it'll blow up. This movie is just a sensory overload. You are sweating and shaking throughout this whole film. Jack O'Connell as the gunman, I've never seen him in movies. I know that he was in, was it 47, the war movie? I was struck by his performance up until just like the very beginning where he came on with the gun. Just like the costume design was great. He looked kind of like a lower class man who lived in New York City. But the person who surprised me the most was George Clooney. This dude, when he's acting, he just goes into this zone where he's like, okay, so I'm in a hostage situation. What would I do and how would I act? And then they roll the cameras and he's off. And Julia Roberts, alongside him, she's up in a sound booth. She's the director of the show Money Monster, which is then sabotaged by Jack O'Connell's character, Kyle. And for the most part, she is in George Clooney's ear and on the intercom for everyone to hear. She just carries this movie. Like, when it feels like nothing's really happening, she'll be like, oh, do this. And it'll completely make sense, which is why the writing I was very surprised with, because I expected it to be completely jumbled from the second the crazy opening credit scene happened. And if you haven't seen the movie Gravity yet, I mean, it's been out for a while, it should have seen it. It also has George Clooney in it. That doesn't really attach from what the point I'm trying to make is, but the point I'm trying to make is that short movies usually are the best. Like Gravity, it starts off right off the bat. The trash comes, the ship's broken, and it's all climax from then on. That is what Money Monster is. It doesn't necessarily have a climax. It has more exciting moments than the others, but it just does not stop. You are glued to your seat. The eyes are glued to the screen. Whew! It's a lot to handle. Even though my audience members kept like standing up to like sit and watch the movie, none of my business, but this movie was great. There's a huge plot twist in this movie. Like, I'm going to pass so many classes in high school just watching this movie over and over, because this movie it's full of education. It's just like The Big Short. You learn so much just by watching a movie. And it's a plot that people have forgotten about, but the power of film, it'll bring back that plot, just like the movie Spotlight with the Catholic priests. So Money Monster overall, it is full with non-stop action. It's totally intense, and it's probably the second most intense movie of the year behind 10 Cloverfield Lane. George Clooney deserves an Oscar for this. Jodie Foster's an amazing director. Julia Roberts and Jack O'Connell also do a great job. The cinematography is very unique, and just some of the things that they do in this movie I've never seen before. So to also keep this one brief, even though it'll totally be really long, I'm going to give Money Monster a B+. Thank you guys for watching. Just like in my Civil War review, I said I wanted to see this so I'd review it, and I'm here reviewing it, so hopefully next week I'll see Nice Guys and Neighbors 2, so please look out for those. I really want to see Nice Guys, but I'm not sure what'll happen, but wish me luck on that.